Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I have a little bit different setup. It's my second working station where I have my laptop. So it's a morning 8:27 and I just came back from the night shift, and I thought I would record this video because there is a great reason for it. So today, well last night, I was rotated to PEADS. So for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Yana. I'm a registered nurse. I work for Queensland Health, and in the last couple of years I've been working in general medicine, and now I'm working in medical assessment unit and CCU. So I have never ever tried to work or even be sent on clinical rotations as a student to PEDS. I have never ever had any experience working with children. So last night, out of a sudden, I came on my ward. We were overstaffed, and to my surprise, I was sent down to PEDS. I was like I didn't know how to accept it, but at the same time I wanted to try. Like, PEDS area was never the area of my interest, and the reason to that is as a parent myself, I just can't see children hurt. I can't see children being palliative. It is really hard for me to see it, especially on a daily basis, if you choose to work with PEDS. And by PEDS, I mean very little toddlers, babies, you call it, up to 16 years old. So you will be dealing with different ranges in this age bracket. With kids, and you will see a lot of them cry because they are in pain. A lot of them suffer, and I honestly, I just can't see them being in pain and struggling. I'm okay working with adults, even adults who are palliative patients, that's fine, but kids was never an area that I would be interested in. So last night was so interesting. I took a chance and I went downstairs to PEDS ward. So in my hospital, I work in a public hospital, we do have 16 beds, and the age range would be, as I said, from very little ones to 16. You would have surgical patients there, you would have medical patients, and you will also have anyone who is under 15 would be reviewed by the doctor who would be on the floor. So we have a doctor that is attached to PEDS ward and also PEDS ED, and they stay with us on the floor. And then for my patients who were 16 years old, if I had any concerns, unless it's a surgical patient, but if it's a medical one, I could call just our general ward call. Ward call is your doctor that's covering medical patients on a night shift. If it's a surgical patient, then I would call a surgical ward call. If I need any adjustments with medications, if I need any medications to be charted, if I need my vital signs of a patient to be reviewed, if there are any concerns, then I would need to contact the ward call. So having that doctor for my other younger patients on the floor was really helpful, because you literally can call the doctor, or you can go back to the nursing station and just speak to the doctor in person. So the ratio for these 16 patients was 3 nurses to 16 patients. So we had also 5 empty beds as well. So I've got as a start 4 patients, which is very similar to your normal day or evening shift on other wards as well. The ratio would be 4 patients to 1 nurse. So I've got my 4 patients, and then I've got 1 more admission at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that admission was my 5th patient. So the ages of the patients that I had two 16 years old, one 14, one 15, and my new admission was 9. I had 2 surgical patients. One patient was already post washout. The second one was prepping for the OT today. Then I had another patient, so that patient for OT was with the fracture. And then I had urinary retention conditions presented with my patient, bowel obstruction, eating disorder, and I also had flu A. So they're not really difficult conditions, they were easy, and all my 5 patients, they were easy. But my little one who had a fracture, that patient was in a lot of pain. And when it comes to medications, so everything in PEADS ward need to be checked by 2 nurses. And I'm talking about like literally everything. You know how with adults, as nurses, we need to check things like IV injections, infusions, then intramuscular or subcut injections, then we need to check blood thinners, then we need to check let's say big infusions like iron or blood, obviously all your IV antibiotics. So all those things you need to check with the second person. Here with children, you have to check everything, even simple things like Panadol. But they do have something that you can be signed off after you've been working with PEADS for a while, that will allow you to administer things like Panadol, ibuprofen, salbutamol inhaler by yourself without a second check. The list is very small and it's like the simplest medication, but you need to be signed off by the clinical nurse and I think by the NUM as well, and you need to work for some time with PEADS. I don't know exact details because I've only asked briefly things today throughout my shift, but yeah, it was interesting. So I needed to give some of IV antibiotics to my patient today. The calculations would be different as well to the adults. You would still use your formulas like your required stock, your required dose over the stock in hand, but then you have to include also the weight of the child. And when you look at the medication order, the doctor will actually calculate as well and put for you at the bottom of the order how much of the drug the child can have in a dosage amount per 1 kilo of their weight. So when you do your calculation, you should come up with something similar to what the doctor is suggesting. I'm trying to put my words and thoughts together. My brain is working on a autopilot at the moment. But yeah, it was really fascinating. So I haven't done any children calculations since I was pretty much a student. So this was a very interesting experience. And when I say when I was a student, that was literally in a class, because I've never had any clinical placements as a student with PEADS. So last night it was a very great experience for me and it was so much fun as well. During the daytime, the ratio that they have there is 4 patients to 1 nurse, and also if they're really short-staffed, then some of the nurses may have 5 patients per 1 nurse, but they will try to give the load of 5 patients to that nurse that are not as heavy as the other patients, because that person would have 1 extra person to care for, so they will give you like a light-ish patients. In terms of cares, so the parents will be helping a lot, like because I was having my first shift there ever last night, they tried not to give me any little children, because we had 3 months old, 4 months old on the floor, we had a year old, 18 months old children, and some of them were on NG tubes, like internal feeding. They were on lots of IVs, so they tried not to give me like heavy patients, because this was my first time. But in general, whether it's a small child or an older child, the parents are pretty much always there, and they help with the showering, toileting, changing, and all the other ADLs that that child need. Like, for example, all my patients, all 5, had their parents with them. So we have like recliner chairs beside each patient's bed, and the parent can stay there. All of them had just one parent, because it's not much of a room for 2 parents to stay, because it's like cubicles. If you've ever been to ED where the bed is surrounded by the curtain, so it's like a block of, I don't know how many meters it's there, so you can't put 2 recliner chairs, so it's only for one parent to stay. So yeah, so all my 5 patients had parents with them, and I literally didn't need to do anything last night in terms of ADLs. They were helping their children, and they were all mobile, they were all independent in terms of other things. So it was just the minor little things that the parents were assisting, so I didn't need to do any of that. Then if you need any escalation or any referrals or anything to be done to other professionals, like for example my post-op patient who had a washout, I needed to do a referral to the wound nurse to come and have a look and just make a plan with the dressing, because if that patient to be discharged today or tomorrow, we just needed to make sure that everything looks fine. The parents are explained about what type of dressings to use when they're out of the hospital and things like that. So you still do your normal referrals, you still escalate the situation to the doctor if needed, if any review needs to be done by the doctor as well, you still do exactly the same things as you would do with the adults. Also, this last patient of mine, who was the youngest with the fracture, I needed to go down to ED and take a handover from the nurse in ED, because I was picking up the patient directly from the ED. And our ED in my hospital is very small, like really small. Yeah, it was a lot of children in it. We had quite full ED actually last night, so I had a handover and then I brought my patient up. So you just book a wardie, and wardie comes and moves the bed up to our PEADS ward. So yeah, it was really interesting experience. It's completely different when you deal with this child in comparison to the adult. The way you talk, the way you try to make them feel comfortable, because they can be scared. Like when I was moving my poor patient with the fracture, she was only like 9 years old, from the ED bed to the ward bed, she was in so much fear and also pain in her arm, that like you need to encourage them, you need to just make them feel that they are doing a great job, they are brave, you know, and just make them feel like lifted. And I already forgot how to do it, because like my children, they are teenagers now. I, as a nurse for the past years, been only dealing with the adults, so that way of communication hasn't been around for me for a very long time. And today, one of the patients, who wasn't mine, the patient was 18 months old, so the dad came out to me in the nursing station because the nurse who was looking after that patient was on a break, and the little girl, she just took the bandage off, so she had the fractured thumb, and she had a bandage all over her hand and the thumb, and it just came out halfway through. And the father asked me if I could bandage it again and just secure it, so I was doing it. And like, I realized that working with children, everything is so miniature, it's so small. Like, her hand was really little and her thumb was like standing up like this. So when I bandaged everything, she was like permanently having this kind of gesture, you know, like everything is great. And we were joking about it, but like everything was so little, so miniature when you do the dressing. Oh my god, it was so cute. And she was like so tiny. We put her to sit on a desk of the nursing station, and she's like little like that, like a little pretty doll. And I was doing the bandage, and it's just like, I'm telling you guys, this experience was so amazing, so amazing. I was afraid a little bit when I just arrived to the ward, because I didn't know what to expect. Like, can you imagine, you've never done PEADS before? Like, I can understand if I was rotated to a surgical ward, because I've done so many surgical placements as a student. I haven't worked in a surgical ward as a graduate or throughout my experience of RN years. Like, I haven't worked in surgical, I mainly work in general medicine. But if I was rotated to the surgical, it would be fine, like with the adults. If I would be rotated to different medical wards or ED or palliative or rehab units, it would be fine. But here with kids, I was like, first of all, the area was unfamiliar. Secondly, like, the age of your patients is different. So I was scared in the beginning, but I was also excited to take that chance, since I'm already there, to see what it's like. So yeah, after today, I don't think still that PEADS is a type of area that I would choose to work in the future. I still don't think it's something that my heart leans to, but who knows? It was a great chance to taste it, to see what it's like. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity today that came kind of unexpectedly. I thought I will share it with you guys here as well. If you've worked with PEADS, or if you are working with PEADS, share your experience in the comment section as well. Just remember to preserve the privacy of the patients that you look after and the place where you work. But yeah, in general, just share your experience, how you feel about working with PEADS, for other people who subscribe to my channel and anyone watching my videos. So I hope this information was somehow helpful to you guys, gave you a little bit of insight how I felt and what I went through. In general, it was an easy shift. It was a very easy shift. I am physically tired now because I was awake all night, obviously, but I'm not exhausted, if you know what I mean. Like, it was a light, beautiful shift filled with the new experience. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will go now to have a shower and have a sleep, and I'm back again tonight for my second night shift, and hopefully I will be back on my normal ward. We don't get rotated often to other wards unless we are fully overstaffed. So fully overstaffed, that doesn't make sense unless we're overstaffed. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.